Landon, hello! Hi!
Hello.
Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to the very first Kinging Out. We have had 2 months of Queens on Queens on Queens, and we're at long last finally bringing you an interview with our first drag king. And I hope everybody is deeply ready for Daddy. As always, I'm Joey Nolfi, the Drag Race reporter at EW. You can keep up with all of our drag coverage at ew.com/drag race. And today we've truly saved the most appropriate spooky season guest for the final day before Halloween as we welcome the Boulet Brothers Dragula crowned super monster to the show, who's as much of a gentleman as he is, I suppose, a fan of the demonic, so it's very appropriate. Please welcome the incredible Landon Cider. Landon, hello! Hi!
Hello.
You told me that you were not doing drag. This is a nice Halloween surprise.
I know I had to. It's Halloween. How can I not?
I have to admit, I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh no, he's not gonna do drag. And this
I know. I was out of town working on a project and just I'm so tired of paint on my face. So I was like, I'm gonna take a break, but how can I not?
I love the blood on the teeth. What did you just get done eating, if you don't mind?
All of my siblings that were exterminated.
Yes, I love that. The blood of your fallen, siblings. I love that so much. Oh
It
my
was
God.
delicious.
A fly.
Talented blood.
Literally, a fly just flew onto the screen as you joined the live. So it's like the
Not a spider?
Yeah, you're courting the bugs.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta touch up as I talk, you know.
Oh, that's totally fine. You do what you gotta do.
Professionals, and we have to fill in our little gaps that happen, you know.
Yes.
How about you?
I am doing wonderful now that I'm talking to you. This truly is. You look amazing. I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much for being here. And I should have told you, though, in order to be interviewed on this series, you actually have to do an extermination challenge. So I'm going to need you to just snap your fingers, do a tongue pop, do a death drop before we continue.
Well, I cannot do a tongue pop. I will. Oh, I think damn it. I would have known. I would have known.
I'm so kidding. I'm so kidding. I am totally kidding.
I know. I would have done something though, because you know I'm down. I'm down to do what it takes to get where I want to go. So.
Well, I just think it's funny because I had the Boulet Brothers on a few weeks ago, and as their extermination challenge, I challenged them to a tongue pop off, and they were mortified. It was so fun.
Yeah, Drac cannot do a tongue pop.
No.
We learned that on our set for our season. But I can't either, so I have nothing to judge.
That's totally fine. You excel in so many other areas. We don't even need a tongue pop. But there's seriously, there's nothing that you can't do after eating spiders, though, within the first 30 seconds of being on Dragula.
Exactly. I think I proved right away that I was there. I was in it to win it. You were not going to let go of me. We were just eating some spiders. They were not fun. They did not taste good. One of them tried crawling up my throat. It was really nasty, but I had to make it look cool too. I couldn't be all, no, I had to go for it.
Yeah. I knew right then and there. I was like, this is somebody to watch out for. This is somebody who doesn't care, who is going to go full force. What did the spiders taste like, though? Can you compare it to a taste? Because I've heard some people say that spiders taste like crab, like you would get at a seafood restaurant.
I was not fortunate enough to taste crab. I would have asked for some melted butter. No, that was not the case. It more like I was more focused on the fact that they were moving around in my mouth to really think about the flavor. But it was more like kind of like a sting, like, and the fact that they popped in between my teeth. I was way more mortified the fact that their little bodies were popping. And then I was picking like legs out of my teeth all day long on set. So that was the texture is more a part of my memory than the taste.
Good to know. That is much more horrifying, actually, knowing that it was the texture, not the taste.
The Boulets do a good job of horrifying us, on and off that. Yeah.
They do. They are. I love them. I've loved everything that you have done since the show. But I do on a serious note, before we get into some of the projects that you have coming up, I first want to just thank you for being here, because I think many people who've sort of been reared on drag in the mainstream. My experience with drag kings is not as deep as it is with drag queens. So I'm really excited to introduce you to our readers, to, you know, a side of this expansive and diverse industry that they might not be familiar with. And you truly represent so much excellence in that regard. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Now, first, being our very special spooky guest, I have to know your Halloween costume plans for tomorrow. Like, because you've been killing looks online. This look, your Haunted Mansion look was amazing. So what are you actually doing tomorrow?
Actually, I don't, it's so ironic and unfortunate, but, well, not fortunate, because I have so many amazing things going on in my personal life. And I just said, like, I just got back from working on a project that was super fun, but it's like for a couple months away. So I have so many things going on right now that I haven't had much chance to focus on my Halloween looks. I've been kind of repurposing old things, and, you know, and especially not working, we don't have a lot of money to create brand new looks from head to toe. So really just recycling old things. My wife and I had extended plans to do another couple's costume with our 2 fur babies, who may bark during this interview, by the way. We have full plans, and then we decided that she was given an opportunity to open up her own barbershop suite. So a personal one-chair suite, and that has been taking all of our focus. We've been painting her place, furnishing it, decorating it. So all of our artistic, professional, every waking moment has been focused on that. So we kind of decided to just put Halloween on pause, and whatever we could do tomorrow is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna wake up early, have our coffee, smoke a blunt, and then go to my drag closet and figure it the fuck out.
Right, there you go. I love that plan. And congratulations to her on, I saw a post about that the other day, and that is so great. I mean, especially during this time, these really difficult times, it is so great to see her opening a business. So
it is.
Congratulations to your wife.
It's been a pivotal time in many ways. We didn't think that was going to be a possibility. The opportunity arose. We took advantage of it. So proud of her too, because as a queer woman and as a more androgynous and masculine-centric presenting woman and lesbian out of drag, finding a safe space to get my hair cut in a barbershop type of environment where the stylist has a barbershop approach to the style is difficult as a woman, because it's not a safe space in most barbershops. Even as a gay and effeminate man or a queer person in general, going to a barbershop sometimes is a little insecure. It's hard to find somewhere you find space. So she has a lot of clients who are queer on either any version of gender or sexuality you could think of. She has clients that represent everything, and they all come back because of her environment and her, of course, her incredible skill. But I'm very proud of her. So if you're in Long Beach and you want a safe space to get your hair cut, is the place to go.
What is the name of it again?
Black Raven Parlor.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I think it's important work. Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't, think of things like that. They think, oh, barbershop, great, it's a business. But like that is something that a lot of queer people have to think about. So that's very important.
Exactly.
Now, I believe in the world, the whole entire world of all of the drag shows out there, I think you, and I believe there's another drag king named Hugo Girl from New Zealand's House of Drag, are the only drag kings to have ever competed on drag TV shows. And that's in the whole world of all of the different franchises. Now, I know you probably answer questions like this all the time, but is that still like shocking to you that drag queen kings are not as present in the mainstream as queens are?
I wouldn't say shocking, because I completely understand why. We live in a misogynistic environment, misogynistic society. Drag is just a microcosm of the world. It may not seem that way because we're gender fucking everything and making a lot of commentary with our art. So it doesn't seem so much like a microcosm, but the way it all kind of works and the structure of everything does. I'm not surprised, and I'm not shocked that drag kings haven't been given the platform that we deserve. And we have been since drag has been around. We have shared the stages and hit the boards as long as drag has been around. In some cultures, drag kings have been longer in existence than queens. So it's not, we're not new. We've been doing the damn thing for such a long time. I have a personal theory that, as most of us know, most drag and drag queen started from more a feminine impersonation. So they're trying to look like women and explore and elevate the femininity of women. So they wanted to pass. And kings were around the same way. They were more male impersonators, so a male illusionist. So when you have a 6-foot man in 10-inch heels or platforms with a big old wig, they literally stand out in the crowd more. When you have these, most of the time, butchy women or just women in general, now I'm sure we go back, a lot of them would have been on the trans spectrum as well. But you have these assigned female at birth bodies impersonating men, looking like men, getting picked up on men, sitting next to men at the bar, having been cruised and treated like trade, and they're not getting admired or appreciated as much because they're passing so well.
Yeah.
I'll let that fire truck go by. I live across the street from a fire station, so I'm very safe. I know that I'm going to get help any minute.
Setting off sirens with this answer.
Right. So we've been killing it and being so convincing in our art for centuries, but unfortunately, like I said, when you have someone rise up and take the reins and only explore and show one kind of drag, the other ones feel like they're not being validated or seen. So I am very proud of Hugo Girl. I was a Hugo Girl and have been a Hugo Girl stan for many years. I was supporting him from day one, especially when I found out that he was cast on House of Drags down in New Zealand, and wasn't shocked at all that he won because he slayed the competition literally. And I'm so proud of the Boulets. The Boulets have always wanted to have a more diverse cast. They just didn't have people auditioning for them. So we're public on the fact that they actually asked me if I was interested in auditioning for the first and second season, and I had contracts things that I wasn't allowed to be a part of their show, so I had to say no, but I couldn't wait for an opportunity to do so, and I'm so fortunate that they casted me on season 3.
It worked out so well. I mean, you came with the title. Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting what you say about, like, because I guess I never really thought about it that way, that there is, I mean, something about the transformation of a drag king that is just so, you know, because we think about a lot of this stuff as being, it's all theater and it's costume and it's makeup, and those are a lot of similar things. But I mean, yes, dressing up and doing drag to look like a man in a lot of ways, it causes so many different thoughts in one's mind. And some of your looks on the show, it's like, I remember gay friends of mine being like, Landon is so hot, like crushing on your drag character. And it's like, it was an interesting thing to me to see, you know, men being attracted to your drag character as a man. So is that interesting or appealing to you? Like, are you trying to sort of play with sexuality like that? And do you find it interesting that both men and women find it attractive?
Yes to everything you just said. Yes and a yes to everything you just said. From day one, from the very first time I hit the stage, my very first mix was about like inviting all genders and sexualities to get into this because you know, again, you have a lot of gay boys in the audience, and how can I not try to get to them too? So out of drag, my pronouns are she, her, and I am a proud woman and a proud lesbian. And in drag, I am anything you want. I do prefer he, him pronouns to make sure that we get everyone accustomed to using that, because a lot of trans and queer bodies are in our drag circuit, and they deserve to make sure their pronouns are properly used. So I do prefer he, him, but I am pansexual. I am both bisexual and pansexual. I will love to get the love and adoration from anyone, because an entire audience applauding and filling me with that much energy, I cannot be segregating, oh, it has to be only women or only men. Like, that is one large roar from every single type of person, and I'm going to accept every single energy from every person. So I have no problem leaving a show and probably having one or two or a handful, literally a handful of boys masturbating to me later on. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Maybe a couple handfuls. I'm not going to judge. You do what you got to do in the bedroom when you're thinking about me. That's cool.
I love that answer. I love you so much. You are so funny. I like looking through, doing research for this, the evolution of your look over time. I mean, I saw a BuzzFeed video of you from 2015 where you were making over women into drag kings, and I
Uh-huh.
feel like the clip, I could not tell if it was you or not because it was a very quick shot. But there was like when you were talking, they showed a clip of someone on stage that was like bald and looked like Pitbull. Was that you?
Yeah. I used to do a Pitbull impersonation.
Really?
I'm gonna apologize for these two teeth right now. They are not sticking. So just
That's okay.
if any one of the viewers are taking a screenshot of this interview, make sure to Photoshop this side of my teeth with red so it doesn't look like this tragedy. Do the boy well. Don't fuck me over, okay? Do me well.
You look
Um,
fine.
I used to do a Pitbull impersonation, and that comes from when I started. I needed to make a name for myself, so I was, and as any minority or woman or anything, you know that to get anywhere in a community that sees you and treats you like a minority, you have to work 2-3 times as hard to get half as far.
Mhm.
So from the first start out, I fell in love with this art form, and I knew I eventually wanted to do it for a living. So my focus was get this done, be a full-time performance artist. I hit everything, and the more I did that, the more opportunities or shows came around. I have a cosplay show. Do you have any cosplay members? Yes, I do. I have 3. I'll bring them for you tomorrow. Got it, ready. I didn't have to. I was presenting everything so that I can get as many gigs and eyes on me because every show is an audition for another show.
Mhm.
So I thought Pitbull was really popular at the time. He was selling out huge arenas. He was everyone was doing collaborations with him. He was working with some of the hottest stars, and I thought, what better of a huge opposite look of who I am as a drag artist and out of drag to do this Cuban rapper. And I wasn't like a fan of his music or anything. The more I learned about him, the more I liked him.
Mhm.
But it wasn't like I was bumping his records, like
Yeah, I can't see that.
hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. It's not really the kind of music I usually listen to, but it's fun and it gets the crowd going.
Right.
So I put it together, and from the first time I hit that debut, it was he took me around the country. People were requesting him. It was really, really, really fun. So they like to use that clip, and when they do a lot of flashbacks to some of my looks, Pitbull usually gets to edit. Yeah.
Really, I got a kick out of it because I wasn't even sure it was you at first. I had to rewind it a few times and be like, is that Landon? And then you also apparently caught the attention of Lady Gaga because I think there's a picture of going around with you and Lady Gaga. So what is the story there?
I was booked at a show, and the producer was already kind of hinting, like, make sure you bring something good, something good. And I was confident my set was already good because it's Showgirls, which is in WeHo, which is a huge stage. Before Drag Race was really the avenue to drag, they would go to YouTube, look up Showgirls WeHo, and around the world, it was getting multiple hundreds of thousands of views on their YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
It was the cast and the stage you wanted to hit. So anything I took to that stage, I was confident was a good number. I get to the venue, and then he breaks it down and says, hey, Lady Gaga's going to come film her lyric video for Applause. We don't know when she's going to arrive. She's just going to walk in and start filming. So she walked in during my first number. No one gave a fuck about me. I was on stage performing to everyone with their phones to their back to me, filming her, film the audience. So I was like, cool, that's cool, I guess. And then I did my parody of Peter Pan for my second one.
Yeah.
And it worked out perfect. She got on stage with me. She was, doing selfie camera. She was really, really fun. But she also needed to get off the stage too because I still needed to perform and make my money because, I was still performing for the gig and for the audience. And then she came backstage and she took pictures with us. So it was great. She tweeted me with her thanks when she released the video. She tweeted me along with all the other girls that were in it. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, the followers came running. So it was great.
Yeah, I love the story behind that. That's such a good, it's the lyric video for Applause, I think, and it was, I really love that she did that. Now, I do want to talk about the projects that you have coming up. I'm very excited about the Dragged Up tour with Jackie Cox.
Yes.
Why was Jackie somebody that you wanted to pair with on this tour? Because I think it's a really interesting mix, your styles together.
Well, we share the same management team.
Mhm.
We have different managers, but we're still on the same team. And so when I was talking to my manager, Jason, over at jasonqueensentertainment.com, bookings, when I was talking to my manager about getting a tour out there, we had just discussed the fact that my Halloween tour this year was being postponed. So we were trying to get me back out there, and we were just trying to figure out the angle on how to make it work. And and her manager was also trying to figure out something too for her. And it just kind of makes weird sense, but perfect sense because we are so extreme different in our aesthetics and our brands and our franchises. But as I'm a musical theater fan, and that's my base, that's my roots. So I am so down to go. I actually worked with her on my project, and we shared it backstage yesterday.
Mhm.
I can't be specific about that project coming
Okay.
up, but you will see it soon, and it's mind blowing. My face still hurts from the amount of work I did with my looks. Um, but that's why I painted so much red because my skin is so raw that I
Oh
needed
God.
to cover up the red with more red. Um, but she's so hilarious. She's so fun. I cannot wait to go and most likely quarantine for 2 weeks with her in her hotel before we can go on tour because it is the end of January and February. So we're going to do what it takes to
Yeah.
get this tour happening, to keep everyone safe. And if I have to stay in a hotel with Jackie Cox for 2 weeks, I will do that for you fans,
Right.
for you, Europe and Ireland. I'm doing that for you. So.
Uh-huh. There are much worse people I could think to be quarantined with for 2 weeks. Jackie is an
Right.
amazing person to be quarantined with for 2 weeks.
And after working with her, I also know that if anyone would like to send any green herbal treatment to our hotel, you can DM me and I'll be happy to give you the address to the local P.O. box because I'm not going to be that open with where I'll be at. But, you know.
Perfect. So what can you tease about what we will be seeing on this tour? Like, because it's kind of like, I think, like you're saying, it's a bridging of these two worlds between fans of Drag Race and Dragula, and I think it's important that we come together a little bit more. So what are you guys going to be doing on this tour together? Are there numbers together? Is it mostly separate? Like, what's going to go on?
We will be representing ourselves and our individuality and giving the audience what they expect from us and more. So we will making sure to do that because we don't want to just change who we are just to change for each other.
Right.
But we are working together on a duet as well. We might give a little bit more. We're still kind of playing with the opportunities and brainstorming, but a couple of ideas on what we're coming up with already. It's going to be great. You can definitely count on us reading each other for filth and
Yes.
reading each other's franchises because how much fun is it? You can't just go and be like, oh, I love everything you do. No, you have to read a bitch too.
You
So
have to.
there's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of fuckery. And you really don't want to miss it because what we're doing individual is going to be great and what we're doing together is going to be fun as well.
Perfect. Now, I do want to talk to you a little bit about your respective franchise, Dracula, which you won
Mm-hmm.
last year. I mean, this show and its contestants have become, I think, a very important part of this industry. First, with this year, with Resurrection, I mean, that is such a cool special that they did. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
What did you think of that when you first watched it?
I was stunned in how beautiful it was. Not just in its filming, obviously the eye they have as a creative team is
Beautiful.
beautiful. That's the reason why I wanted to audition for Dragula to begin with. The filter and that eye is just so beautiful.
Mhm.
And how they catch the artistry is already something I always wanted to be a part of. But the way that they approached, it wasn't a competitive show. It was in its root of what they were accomplishing, but it was a documentary celebrating artists and what we are doing during a revolutionary time in both such a pivotal moment in our global pandemic, but also the Black Lives Matter movement. Um, so much of it was so spot on and so perfect, and it really is the curse of Dragula of how perfect they are with timing of certain things. And of course, curse is the positive in this scenario. Um, it it blew my mind in how they approached it and how everyone had so much to say and they were very clear. Like, look, we're casting this because these people have a point of view. And they all used their platforms to speak on what they needed to speak on. And it was so touching and movement. And everyone, I'm so proud of all of my siblings,
Yeah.
what they put forth and what they shared with us. I'm proud of course, Saint deserved that win. And I'm just proud of everyone for what they put forward. And I just hope that they get more of the recognition they deserve, especially the season one girls, because, you know, unfortunately, a season one of anything kind of gets hidden. But they shouldn't be, because they're powerhouse entertainers and competitors.
So I also think this year, people like Bitch Puddin', the season 2 Super Monster, was so instrumental during this COVID pandemic of starting the trend of, I think, these digital drag shows and giving performers income, like on Twitch. I think is it the last Friday of every month or every Friday? I forget the frequency. But
It's twice a month now.
Twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just proof that there's still spaces and territory that this industry has to claim. So where do you see, I guess, the power for this community in what Bitch and these digital drag shows are doing? Like, do you think there's an inherent power in creating new digital spaces for queer art?
Just to be a little clear, my phone just rang, and that's why my voice went down. And
Okay.
now for some reason you're coming in quiet, even though you're as loud as I can. So what I think what you're asking is just what importance digital drag now has for our community and for our audience.
Yes.
I am so inspired by some of the artists and the work that people are putting forward. Since drag has cultivated this following of bringing people together, and like I said, it's a safe space. Drag has always been this safe space where people can come and explore who they are and f around and just have a good time and make fun of things. So we've always been the artists that our community looks to be distracted or to be entertained while we're going through some really hardships. We had drag shows going on while bars were being bombarded by police and suffered police brutality for so long, and the drag shows were still continuing. We had, you know, drag artists being a part of that experience and fighting for us as well. So we've always been the ones that have kind of been like, okay, we're going through some let's figure it the out and entertain our audience, entertain our community. I'm so lucky to have been asked by to join the first show. Hey, you sign on.
Oh,
hey,
sure. Yeah. Hello.
I was so lucky to be invited to be a part of her first show, but also be a cast member and to be pushed artistically to create. The first couple months was every week we had to do something new, and I had nothing else going on, so might as well f up my living room and piss off my wife by having like this horrible. My set is, I have a teeny tiny little living room, and I was destroying our whole house to create these things. So I learned very quickly that I had to put everything away in the morning to give ourselves some mental health, because having a drag space take over your house is very, very overwhelming.
It's like a toddler cleaning up their toys after playing.
Having that, I'm sorry?
It's just like a toddler cleaning up their toys after playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So having that artistic push has really taught me so much in how to work this new stage. And it's still a stage. It's still a platform. It's still an opportunity to say what you want to say. You can get up and do some high parody, crazy. You can do something a little bit more somber. You can be dramatic and horrifying. And you don't need a lot to make a statement. You can just get a cardboard box, cut a hole in it, and put a flashlight in there, and you have a spotlight. You have so much you could do with what we're given with our technology and these high-tech cameras on our phone. Like, there really is, the opportunity is endless, and you're seeing these artists explore, and the audiences are still in it for the ride. We're still getting like 1,000 views every week, if not more. We're getting generosity from our fans, are still coming through with our tips and digital trips. My Venmo is Landon Cider. My PayPalMe.com is Landon Cider. For anyone watching, I'm still very highly accepting digital tips. And it's been, I'm honored to have been given the opportunity to do so much in this time and be inspired, like I said.
Yeah. Important work. Again, I know I keep saying it, but it's important work that Bitch is doing, that you're doing. It's because it's so much more than just a job in this community. It really is about identity and liberation and visibility. So again, amazing work there, to you and Bitch. The last thing I want to ask you before we go is, I imagine that filming Dragula is an experience in itself outside of what we just see on camera. So do you have any sort of memorable stories or funny incidences with the boulets on set that we didn't see on camera that you can reveal?
Of course. The boys are very hands-on. They're very hands-on. We quickly learned that they were going to be backstage if everything was happening to us in the boudoirs or anything going on. They were listening in and watching. I think my biggest fear happened after the first episode. Not just the spiders, but how badly I executed my villain. My villain was, I forgot a very key piece in my costume. I forgot my corset, which gave me a huge insecurity in the way my body was shaped. And so I went on stage and I froze. It was the first time we were doing a floor show and I completely froze. I was like a robot being a bad robot. And afterwards, and we got our critiques, and luckily I was safe. I was very, very low safe, and they made sure to let me know that with my post-filming critiques. They call us each. They let us know more. They answer all their questions we have about how we can improve or this or that. They really want us to succeed and show them our best. So they're really trying to encourage us to do that. And they straight up said, "That was disappointing. We're disappointed in you. That's not who we cast. Maybe you're not good for TV." They didn't say it all like that, and but they told me all of that, and I was like, okay. And that put exactly what it's like, that, that parental figure who's gonna straight up tell you something, to know that that's what's gonna get you to raise the bar. And I did, and that moment was a pivotal in my experience. The mariachi came out, and I ended up winning that episode, and continued to do well in all the challenges. I didn't have to do an extermination in order to stay in the show, and I am very proud of that work and the lineup where I got. But I'm more proud of my personal art that I laid out. I just wanted. Of course I wanted to be top 3. Of course I wanted to win. Of course all of that. And I wanted to win more challenges. But my main focus was stay as long as you can, just to keep showing your art. And that moment and that harsh critique is what really got me going. They weren't blowing smoke up my ass. They weren't trying to say, oh, it was okay. No, they were straight up and said that was bad. And maybe you don't deserve to be on TV. And it's like, shit, let me show you that I do. And again, I hope to as an inspiring moment to any artist out there. If you're thinking about doing drag, or you've been in drag for a while and maybe you're not improving the way you want, question the circle you're surrounding yourself with. Are they just telling you you're good and they're not telling you anything about what you can improve on, or just change or elevate parts of your drag? If they're just telling you, oh, that was good, girl, work it, bitch, yes, slay, and they're not hearing any criticism, question that, because you're probably blowing smoke up your ass. Make sure you get someone around you that's going to tell you the harsh truth.
I think that is a great note to end on. Unfortunately, the end of our time together. I would love to talk to you all day. But is there anything else that you want to say, or any other projects that you want to plug or mention here?
Again, my UK, England, my Europe and Ireland tour with Jackie Cox. I do keep an eye out on all my social media, because you'll be hearing about some fun things that I've been working on. Make sure to follow me on all platforms. I'm still getting used to Twitter, so don't hate me. I can't figure out when someone tags me in something in a comment, I can't figure out how to go to the original tweet. So if I don't retweet or share something, I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So don't mind me. All platforms, follow all our social media. Watch Digital Drag Show on Bitch Puddin's Twitch every 2 Fridays of the month. We're giving so much amazing talent. It stays up through the weekend, but sometimes it gets muted. So if you can catch it live or watch it right away. If you have any moment to share any of your monetary successes, we appreciate it. If you don't have anything to share, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. That is really helping this silly little social media algorithm. So please help us out that way. And again, I'll be in Europe 2 times next year. I haven't, it hasn't been released yet, the second time, but we're going to go ahead and ask you to follow me on social media for that too. And just celebrate who you are and make sure you're voting. I really just vote, make your voice heard. If you're watching this, or if you support any kind of drag or anyone that's a member of the queer community, we are being attacked and you need to speak up, and not just in the polls right now. You need to speak up at your local polling place, your local elections. You need to call your family members. Don't just, you know, sit there. It's no time to just be sitting complacent. Now is the time to speak up and educate yourself so that when you do speak up, you're eloquent and you can actually have a conversation that doesn't turn into an argument, because that's how it's happening. And the more we communicate, the more we're going to share our voices and defend our allies, or defend ourselves as allies.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for being here. And if you guys don't listen to what Landon is saying in this advice, he is going to eat you and the blood is going to be all over the lips, just like
That's right.
Right.
I don't care if you don't taste good. I'm going to eat you anyway.
There you go. And make sure
eat pineapple.
Make sure everybody thinks of Landon the next time they're eating spiders. And viewers, please tune in to EW's Instagram right here next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I will be joined by Bianca Del Rio to talk about another mystery project that we will be announcing on EW.com on Monday. Thank you again, Landon, and thank you to everybody who tuned in. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Book me on Cameo.
Bye.